Hey everybody, I'm gonna show you a little bit how to make arrangements so you can create tracks and songs in Patchworld. It's one technique that I'm still developing, but you can already try it out in the app with all the tools, blocks, and devices available. So let's get started. First, I'll show you a little beat I composed. So this is a nice sequencer I really like. It's triggering this micro sampler. It's not released yet, but will be soon. It has few modes. Right now it's set to velocity instead of notes, so it sends 0 to 1 values, and it's triggering this little ride. Here's a hi-hat going into this very nice hi-hat synthesizer generator. Here's another snare and another snare here. This is a sample. This is a synthesizer and kick. Okay, now I have here a preset composer, and the way it works is that you have different parts, and each part you can save. You can connect it to these inputs here. You can save it and you can reload it. I'm gonna set it to auto load so that when I switch this part number, it's gonna switch the preset that I already set up. Alright. So for this example, most of the track is gonna be on part 0, and I have here just 2 value blocks that I can use to trigger the different presets. And I'll show you in a little bit how they get triggered. Okay, next up, let me switch this off. So another thing, these drum samples, the sounds, they go into a little mixer. So here I have kick, snare, and the 2 snares, and they both go to this mix box, which is kind of like a drum, like a bus or a group of all the channels, where I can, it's a stereo bus where I can set also panning and volume and gain of all the channels that are coming in. So I have kick and snare going in number 1, and then the 2 hi-hats cymbals are on 2 different channels with a bit of a panning here, and that's the output for the drums. Now here on this section I have a few synths that all go into this bass mix down, and let me show you how they're built. So this one is, and all of these are set, most of them are set to notes, scaled notes. That means they're using this scaler, filtering, basically creating all these values are getting triggering these selected notes. So let's listen how it sounds. So I have these notes in here, and this one's set to velocity modulation. It's 0 to 1 to control the low pass filter. This goes into wave folder block and function stream block set to 10, which is also kind of a saturation feature on this little block. And let's listen to all of them. The drums. Now on this instrument, this bass does a few things. So there's the main one that triggers notes, it goes into the note in, and this velocity modulation, that one is controlling the decay length, and the other is the low pass filter cutoff. Now this synth is going into a flanger, and every time this triggers a note, it goes into this random block that when it's set to 1, it's gonna random values from this side between 0 and this max value, which is 1. So every time there's a note going through, it's gonna do a random position on this modulate knob. This is also going through some clipping, distortion, saturation, and all these work very nicely together. There's an extra part here on the bottom that is for a different part, and here you can see that the pattern changes. The way that works is with another preset composer, but this time instead of triggering it manually, here you have another sequencer that is set to bars with 2 steps. You can see here it's basically changing the preset from 0 to 1, and like this it's going through these 2 patterns. So let's turn on all of these. And okay, now these all go into this little mixer, which outputs all of them in a mono. But I'm creating a split here into this bass group, bass bus, you could say, in the mix box. So one split, it goes into the last channel, which just gives me, with a low pass filter, I'm just getting the bottom end of all these synths. Cutting off all the high treble volume stuff. So in another split from here, it's going just into a normal channel directly, so I can get a central sound. Let's listen how it sounds. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna start with this. So yeah, this gives me a bit of meat from those. This gives me the center sound. Now the 2 other splits here, one is with a pitch shifter that's very slightly shifting the pitch of everything that's passing through, and another one is a delay. It slightly delays. One I'm setting to the right, one to the left, so now I have a little bit of stereo expansion here. And lastly, channel 1 here goes to an extra synth that receives notes from all of these different parts and just triggers basically a syn wave, just to get me some subs in there. Like this, I can create a nice mix between expand the panning. Switch these off again, and I'll show you the last part. I'll keep these on. The last part. Okay. Yeah. Now, last part is kind of high pitchy effect, and lastly, there's this. Was just a noise generator. This one, instead of triggering notes, is just triggering the same value 1 in different moments, and I'm using that to trigger these little modulators, module devices that basically can go from one number to another. It's kind of like an envelope. You see it going down, and it's basically just controlling the volume and some characteristic of this noise generator. Now, all of these play buttons here, you can see in the back, I connected cables, so I can have a central place with all these play buttons where I can turn on all the different parts on and off. Okay. Now here comes the arrangement part. This is the marker maker. It shows me that there's actually a global timeline that keeps running and shows me the current position. I can jump to the start, and it will go to bar number 1, beat 1, tick 1, second 0. Now this allows me to jump to the start, turn on a click, change the tempo, but also add markers. So when I turn this to rhythm marker and I click add marker, it will generate a little device here that I can set the target position. That means when it's gonna pass this position, let's try that right now. Let's say 1,220. When it passes that bar, it's gonna trigger from here. There you go. You saw that? Now, not only that, I can also jump to this point in time and can jump to any point in time that I want. So what I have here is different rhythm markers, and each one is going to get triggered at a certain rhythm time, certain bar that I selected, and it's going to turn on and off different parts and switch presets, all the presets on the drums. And this one is the beginning, so it's all set to 1. This is after 16 bars, after 25 bars, 41, and so on. So let's get started. I'm gonna push this button, and then it's gonna start from the beginning. Let's listen. Okay, you see it's at bar number 5, 6, 7. When it reaches bar 17, it's gonna shoot the trigger value 1 to turn on this play button that's connected to this snare. There you go. Now when it gets to bar 25, it's gonna trigger the kick drum, which is this play button. It's a bit of a cable spaghetti. Of course, you can arrange things as you want. You can use also wireless connections instead of cables. Now let's go into the main part, number 41. And the last one just triggers the first marker, which brings us back to the top. So this will loop forever, these different markers, and you have a little song arranged and organized just like that in Patchworld. That's it for now. Have fun.